Which 3D, which Earth are you aware of? Which 3D, which Earth are you observing? When you go to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, when you're taking a shower, when you're eating breakfast, when you're drinking coffee, standing in line for, the coffee shop, when you're driving, when you're on the train or the bus, when you're walking. What 3D and what Earth version are you aware of? That will determine who and what you encounter, the versions of the people. So you all want to encounter the new version of your specific person, or the better version or different version of your boss or colleague or whoever and whatever. Then what are you observing, and who is the observer? Because the observing happens via an observer. So you are the observer and the observed and the observing. You're all of it. So who is observing, and what is that person observing? So there's two ways you can flip this. If you change the observation, the observer changes along with it. Or if you change the observer, the observation changes along with it. Whichever one works for you. Because aligned with every observation is the observer observing it. Aligned with every observer is the observation being observed. It's a little bit of a mind twist or a brain twist, whatever. But the best way to understand is you have to wake up in the world of your desires. Meaning you have to wake up in the awareness of your desires. It's always an awareness first, and then the world follows. The awareness comes first. The body, brain, and the three-dimensional world comes after. Anytime you've ever had the feeling that you feel like brand new, or you're starting a new job, or you're starting a new relationship, everything feels so new, or so fun, or so much better, or so great. You feel like you're a new person. That's because you are. You are a new person. You are in a new world because you have chosen a new identity, a new observer. And you are observing with a different awareness. So that's why a lot of people go from relationship to relationship, job to job to job, because they feel like they need something new, wherein they don't understand that they themselves can anew or renew everything. So anyways, that's a different topic, but I wanted to get to the point of observation. When you observe something for the first time, or something different, it's a whole different world that's opened up. Sometimes the people, the places, the jobs, sometimes that helps. Say, for example, you go to a new city and you start a new, fresh life. You're going to have a lot of fresh awarenesses. A lot of things are going to work for you right off the bat because you've never encountered that city other than in your awareness. So your awareness is brand new, is full of positivity or whatever you imagined. Maybe you've seen something on TV or in a movie, or you heard something from someone, or you read something about that city in a magazine. And you go there, and the first few days, the first few weeks, the first few months are wonderful. You love your new job, you're making new friends, the money is wonderful, you have a new apartment, the trees are greener, the flowers are beautiful, everything is lovely, people are asking you out to drinks and dinners, and you're meeting new people, so it feels great, right? But then what happens is you start noticing that someone's dumping garbage on the corner of the street. You notice that your apartment is not that great. Things are breaking down. You notice that at job, other people are complaining or unhappy. You notice that, your employer is making everybody work overtime, they're cutting hours, or you're not getting a promotion, then everything begins to suck. That world that you first initially went to with the new job in the new city, it still exists. You shifted into a parallel, similar world where everything is different. Uglier, worse, lots to complain about, and there. So, in order to get back your specific person, or really you're getting a different version of them, in order to live, stay, and continue and perpetuate the life of your dreams, you're going to have to be awake and aware and conscious of you and your awareness and observation before you shift into drastically unfavorable worlds. Because that's the grace, mercy, and the burden of free will all at the same time. You're free to choose anything you want, whether it be favorable or unfavorable. It goes either ways because it has to, otherwise it wouldn't be free will. But unfortunately, when you go into unfavorable territory, you're very likely doing it without intention, purpose, or conscious intention. And then you're wondering and complaining why you're there. So what happens is, every morning that you wake up after moving into your new city, now that you've achieved the move into the new city, you stop becoming aware and observing the fancy, beautiful newness that you once imagined about the city, because now you see the city. The roads are dirty, the people are miserable, people are rude, the coffee is bad at the coffee shop, or whatever. But when you first stepped in, it was the best tasting coffee you'd ever had in your life. Your friends were so wonderful. Your job was so great. Your specific boyfriend or girlfriend was just the best person on the planet. Everything was going right. Then what happened? Well, what happened is you started taking into your awareness the details of the environment. That's what happens. And unfortunately, this is not talked about, but this is where you feed your awareness and change worlds. You just go into a shitty world, a very look-alike world, but everything is horrible or unfavorable. Your job sucks, your supervisor hates you, your manager doesn't like you, those kind of things. Your colleagues are rude. So what's going on? You're miserable, you don't like your job. So what's going on? Nothing is going on. You're changing worlds, but unfortunately you're changing into unfavorable territory. Because when you observe and you're aware of your new fancy, bright new world, your meanings and interpretations for anything that happens should line up around that. For example, if you're in a new world and you're in a new job and your boss and colleagues are really great, but then one day your boss texts you that you're a jerk or that you didn't do something properly, then everything changes. You suddenly shift into a world where your boss hates you. But this is where I want you to catch your interpretations. Why couldn't you interpret that message was not meant for you? Why couldn't you interpret that message was written by somebody else? Or maybe your boss changed phone numbers. Maybe this other person is texting you by mistake. Why couldn't you interpret that anything that doesn't mean doom and devastation? See, for example, your specific boyfriend or girlfriend stops texting you or stops messaging you or ghosts you, so to speak. Why do you interpret it as ghosting? Because that's unfortunately the only meaning and conclusion and assumption given to you by media and people. But why could you not say that they've forgotten the English language? They're taking classes in grammar. They forgot to pay the phone bill. Maybe they don't have a phone anymore. Maybe they can't afford a phone anymore. Whatever. Keep on thinking of millions and millions of reasons that just serve your purpose, but doesn't mean doom and devastation. But to get to this point where you can give different meaning or different assumptions and interpretations to the happenings around you, you will suffer in awareness. You can affirm my boss loves me, my boss loves me, but every morning you get a text saying you didn't do this, you didn't do that, or you suck at doing your job, or I'm cutting your hours, whatever, or maybe you're fired suddenly. Well, why would you look at it that way and rather just say that, no, it's not them, it's somebody else who's hijacked their phone, or they hit their head and they don't know what they're writing, or they have brain damage. They must be in a mental hospital and one of the clerks must be messing around with their phones. You don't know what's happening, but for you to give an interpretation that's unfavorable to your needs and to your desired end is, of course, not going to serve you, and it's going to play out against you. And the results are going to affect you. So, I don't know what else to say other than no one is teaching interpretations, meanings, and conclusions based on all this awareness talk. Unfortunately, there was a time where there weren't social medias and internets and texting in the rampant way that we are experiencing it today. And those of you who were lucky enough to have been, somewhat of an adult or a teenager during those years, you'll remember how different and easy interpretations and meanings were to give. You wouldn't hear from your boss at 9 o'clock at night complaining about things when you're eating dinner or watching a movie or playing games. You'd just go to the office and things would be as you had imagined them the night before. So the longevity of your beautiful world lasted longer and longer. And perhaps as long as you wanted it to. That's why you hear people talk about the good old days, because they were in different worlds, right? Same with you. If you look back, you'll find that there were the good old days where things were different and better because it was a different world, physically. But now, due to all of this, you're switching and changing worlds with every text, with every phone call, with every WhatsApp message, with every Facebook post or Instagram post. I mean, you could be in any kind of wonderful awareness and assumptions, but the minute you open your phone, your whole world falls apart. What do you do then? So I would highly suggest is to work your life in such a way that these things cannot affect your awareness. If you are able to, I would not spend hours and times and meaningless conversations on phones and text messages. So you pick and choose your poison. You pick and choose your experience. If you're going to experience your world of doom and devastation through 90% or 95% of texting and WhatsApping and social media, then that's going to be your reality. If you want to live the life of your dreams with whoever person, whatever specific version, person, specific celebrity, doesn't matter. You're going to have to live life on your terms. Just remember something. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, X, Google, they're making maybe a handful of people billionaires and trillionaires. You're not getting a dime out of this. Just remember, they are their dreams. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp is Mark Zuckerberg's bank account. That's his bread and butter, or that's his yachts and mansions, or whatever you want to call it. X and Twitter are Elon Musk's earnings, like they're his bank account. They are a platform where people believe that they are meant to share and get together and converse and open their minds and interact and be social and open the limitations of worldwide. And people will argue and say, no, I met my husband in there, I met my wife on Twitter, this is how it works, this is the new age. That's great, but if most of your life is affected by the downside of these platforms, who the hell is asking you to use them? You're the one who subscribes to them. Why would you need to spend $1,000 to $2,000 and $50 a month on a smartphone when all you can have is a regular working phone without any smartness to it? If your boss can't send you angry text messages 10 times at night, then that's not your lookout. Does your job require you to answer your phone at 9 o'clock at night? And does it require you to have WhatsApp? Well, if it's not in the contract, then you don't need to have it. So work your life in a way where the negativity is under your control. The doom and devastation is under your control. The experience is under your control. The physical life experience is in your hands. If your specific person has a beautiful and lovely date with you, but goes home and texts you garbage about how they don't want to see you again, how they're with somebody else and they've changed their mind, and why do you have a phone that you answer and are available to like a secretary 24/7? Why don't you have something else to do after your date? Like wash your dog, take it for a walk, wash your hair, clean your bathroom. So I would look very carefully at what's running your life and nip that in the bud. There is no thing that says you have to be technologically savvy, that you have to have all the social accounts and live up with the Joneses. Just because everybody is doing it does not mean it's going to serve you to get you to your desired end. If everybody jumps off a cliff, doesn't mean you need to as well. Do what works for you. Now, if social media and Twitter work for you and you're living the life of your dreams, then that's great. But if it doesn't, which I conclude it doesn't for 90% of the people in the manifesting community, that means it doesn't. Who said it has to work for you? Do you think the medication given to your neighbor for breaking his leg is the same medication that will work for you if you break your bones? No, you may be allergic to it for all I know. But you're going to keep taking it because it works for your neighbor and maybe 10,000 other people, but you're allergic to it. The makers of the medication are not doing anything to you. The makers of Instagram, social media, Facebook are not making your specific person post pictures with their third party. You are subscribing to it. What if you lived in a world where Google was never invented and Instagram was never invented or Mark Zuckerberg was never born? So use your common sense to dictate your life experience. It's very difficult because this is now a part of our daily living, our society, to own a brick, a smartphone, to subscribe to socials, to talk about social stuff on social media, but it's also very difficult to watch your life go by and not live the life of your dreams. So you have a choice. Nothing and no one is realer than your awareness, your inner world. Going back to the medication analogy, it's exactly like taking medication because 90% of the people it works for, and it's 10% maybe who are deathly allergic to it. But you fall in that 10%, but you keep taking it because it works for 90% of others. So you're going to keep taking it and hope to get better, whereas it's just making it worse. But you're going to take it because it's just normal for everybody else to take it. So what if you're deadly allergic to it? You're still going to take it. But you don't understand that the way it is. It doesn't work for you. If something doesn't work for you, you don't have to make it work for you. If something does work for you, then that's great. Do what works for you, not what is popular or acceptable. That's the way to make your life, to get the life of your dreams and live it on your own terms. There are many people who have wonderful lives without ever opening an Instagram account. They have families, they have husbands, wives, children, they have money, they have homes, they have careers, jobs, businesses, whatever. They travel, and they still don't need to open an Instagram account. They don't need to post on Facebook. Some of the richest and the most successful people in the world themselves don't have time for this because they're too busy being rich and successful and enjoying their lives. Just remember, all these accounts are making somebody a billionaire, and it's not you. It's their dream. That's their world. Mark Zuckerberg is not basing his marriage and relationship on a Facebook post. He's already figured that part out. He owns it, so he is in control of his life experience. Facebook was not invented by you. Instagram or WhatsApp was not invented by you. To use it is optional. And you'll say, well, it just won't work because nowadays in every job you need to have WhatsApp, you need to have text messaging, you need to be able to have a cell phone. No, you're saying that. I can guarantee you no job in their contract will say you must have WhatsApp or Facebook or LinkedIn or chat with us 24/7 after work hours. And then go from hired to fired within 2 days. Why would you open that window of opportunity to ruin your life if you don't want it? It's like this. It's like you're wearing a gown, you're going to a party, you're beautifully dressed, and there is a puddle while you're walking to the car, let's just say. But right beside it is a clean piece of road that you can step on. But you're stepping through the puddle and getting your gown dirty, where you could have simply stepped on the clean piece of road and walked nicely into your car without your dress ever getting dirty. But you choose the puddle, and then you complain. It doesn't make sense. And yes, it is that simple. It's just that you've made the puddle your whole world. You've made it the world. You don't see any road outside of it, and that's the problem. Most of it is not consciously and purposefully done by you, so it is not your fault in a way, because you've been taught that the puddle is the only road to take. Why? Because someone like Mark Zuckerberg owns the puddle, and it brings him money, not just $10, but billions. So he's going to do whatever he needs to make it look like it's the only road available, only path available to take. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't have the billions that he has. So for you to buy into something that doesn't serve you is all up to you. So I hope this helps. And if that means you're going to look at your world and make drastic changes, so go for it. No one's going to be able to stop you, and you're not going to miss out on anything. Because unless you are in full, and I mean 110% control of your life experience, if you are not in control of your life experience and somebody else is, and they're the ones who benefit and live their dreams, and you don't get to. You get to go through life wishing and hoping and trying to cross that puddle and complain, whereas there's a piece of road right around it that you could have taken. But here's the good part. That piece of road still exists now, and you can still take it and get to your destination. That's the beauty about manifestation. Even if your gown got dirty in the puddle, you are wearing a new gown in every moment, that, so to speak, that you can walk onto the fresh piece of road and get into your car without your gown ever having gotten dirty. You're new in every moment, literally, all across the board. So even if for 2 decades you've only seen the puddle or only known life to be one way, the road right next to you is right there, and you just have to take it now. And there is no old story or old identity that's going to come and interrupt you. That's all BS. That's all made up. It's your interpretation. So you're taking the nice road and you walk through without getting your dress in the puddle, but a car goes by and splashes dirty water onto your gown. That's not the old story. It's a way of making you feel powerless by saying, oh, see, you were so used to walking through the puddle that now a car splashed the dirty water, even if you were walking through the clean piece of road, just to remind you that you belong on the street with the puddle. That's one way of looking at it, but why the heck would you look at it that way? You would just look at it as a different experience. Like, oh hey, I always take the clean road, but today my dress got splashed on. That's all. It's an event. It's an occurrence. It's not related to your old identity. It's no old story. There is no old story. That's the illusion. To think that an old story has some creative power is illusory. It cannot. It's impossible. You see that? It's not that there's a delay or anything. You're just experiencing things. That's all. Whether you call it an old story or not, you figure it out. You say it's an old story. You can just say it's an occurrence. That had nothing to do with me. It's like you could have never taken the puddle road and always taken the road, the clean road, and one day you just got splashed while wearing a gown. You just got splashed wearing a gown. What do you do in that case? You go home and use some wipes, and lo and behold, it'll come off. Then you go back onto the road, get into your car, and go to your party. It's an occurrence unrelated to any old identities. The fact that people even say there's old identities or old versions or intermixed versions, that's made up. Those are not correct interpretations or not the correct way, because you'll always get and remain stuck in that. You'll see it'll just keep you stuck. It's completely unrelated to anything in the past. Otherwise, I am would not be I am. I am would be conditional on old identities pruning off and wearing off and all that stuff. You can look at it that way, but how long are you going to keep looking at it? It's just never going to end. So, allow yourself to be new in every moment, and any event or occurrences that feel unpleasurable or unfavorable are just occurrences. I promise. It's just occurrences on a bright and sunny day that could and couldn't have occurred. Have nothing to do with your old assumptions, or old identities, or old awarenesses. Now, if you wish to have them have gone differently, whether they mean something to you or not, then you have all the power to do revision and change things and make things different, and it will be so. So that you can experience the life that you always wanted with the person of your dreams, or specifically somebody specific, whoever. So if you have occurrences, treat them as occurrences. If you are reconnecting with your said specific person and then something goes wrong, you get fired, or your specific person says something like that goes against what you thought, treat them as occurrences. They're occurrences, that's all it is. They're not related or connected to anything in the past, because there's no continuity. There's no continuity, then it means everything is independent of everything else. Anyways, I hope this video helped. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.